What is up, my fellow yarn bombers? My name is Michael and I am the Crafty Crocheter, and welcome to another live feed, my Crochet Therapy Thursdays. I hope everyone's day is going well today. As for me, my day's going well. I went to the gym earlier, got my workout in, and right now the weather is very, very nice because it is close to 60 degrees Fahrenheit. But they're saying tomorrow that it's supposed to be like an ice rink tomorrow morning because the rain's supposed to come in tonight. So I wanted to take advantage of the day while it was still nice out. So those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Michael. I am the Crafty Crocheter, and I've been crocheting and knitting and doing all sorts of crafts since I was 14 years old. So recently, I've got back into knitting again, and I'm working on the Ross hat right now. And this is my progress so far. And upon further inspection, I did see I kind of missed a couple of stitches and some fraying because of the yarn. But again, this is a practice hat, so. And I do have another one in the works that I don't have on hand, so I thought I would practice this first and get this one done before I moved on to the other one. So I hope everyone's day's going well today. Hope the weather's faring better your way than it is my way. But for right now, the weather my way is doing very well. It's almost a spring, like a late like fall type weather, spring type weather. So welcome to today's session. If you're a new viewer, thank you for coming. And if you're a returning viewer or loyal subscriber, thank you for coming back, and I appreciate your patronage. So for the next hour, I'm gonna be here. We'll just craft together, chit chat, and get to know each other better. And feel free to put a chat in there anytime, just so I know that y'all are engaged and whatnot. So I'm almost done with this round. So I'm about 2/3 of the way done with the body of the hat. I just gotta put on another 2 inches on there before I start the decrease rounds for this hat. So I think I'm improving better with my speed and how I pick up the yarn with the needles. And so like they say, practice makes perfect. So hello, all my 22 viewers right now. Hope all your day's going well today. Hopefully you are working on some sort of a whip or some sort of project. If you are, let me know what that is, and also let me know where y'all coming from. As right now, I am based out of Akron, Ohio, in the United States. I think for the next time, I'm gonna plan these a little better. Have like some notes what I want to talk about as far as what kind of therapy session, something like that. Because there's I usually just wing it. I just go shoot from the hip, so to speak. Hello to who all joined. I appreciate your patronage today. Yes, I know I sound like a business owner, but I try to find a word that's more erudite, so to speak, I guess. I mean, I don't think of myself as erudite, but I kind of like to have a more profound vocabulary versus. I mean, if there's any topic that you guys want to talk about, let me know. We can gladly discuss that, as long as it doesn't veer into the realm of offensiveness and anything that's going to offend anybody else. And I try to steer clear of anything political because of the climate right here in the United States. So I try to not mention anything along that front. Like my daddy taught me, there are several topics that you should not discuss in a mixed crowd. Again, I know I may have said this before, but I'll discuss it again. So it's like politics, religion, sex, and wealth, because you don't want to talk about that in front of a mixed crowd, because you never know how someone's going to take it or react to it. So I steer away from those topics whenever I can in a mixed crowd. And also, in regards to my knitting, I do have a separate playlist for all of my knitting adventures. If you go to my channel, it's under the playlist The Nifty Knitter. So, like I mentioned in my previous video, any videos that relate to knitting or the knitting arts or tutorials will be put under the Nifty Knitter playlist. But I'm not going to create a separate channel for that because in my description of my page it does say knitting and crocheting, so there's no sense of creating a separate a separate page to manage two of them whenever I can just combine them all into one. Can y'all tell me if there's audio on this, because I want to make sure that I have my audio on and I'm not muted, or if this is set to public and not private, because I know when I set this up I set it to public, so that way y'all can just join in and join me in the session. So I think the last time I had one, someone mentioned to me that for some reason it was set to private whenever or unlisted or something like that, and I had to check it, but it was set to public, so I'm not sure. I just want to make sure that y'all can join the session and interact with me. And I do plan on filming a tutorial video for the Red Heart Grand yarn that I reviewed yesterday, because I put a poll on my community page about if y'all would be interested in something like that, and 80% of you said yes. So I am going to film the tutorial to work the Grand Granny Square. So that should be coming out soon. I'm hopefully get it filmed today and published today. So probably after this live feed, I'm going to go right to that. So any plans for Christmas or the holidays, or if you celebrate Christmas, or if you don't, that's fine. I just thought I'd ask everyone what they're doing for the holidays, because Christmas is going to be here in I think about a week. Yeah, in 7 days. For those of you who celebrate, and I think right now it's what the I think the fifth day of Hanukkah. So happy Hanukkah to all of my Jewish viewers out there. And for those of you who celebrate Kwanzaa, happy joyous Kwanzaa, which starts on Sunday, next Sunday, not this coming Sunday, but the following Sunday. And for all my pagan friends out there, happy Yule and blessed be. I'm sure y'all thinking this is kind of boring watching me knit, but the whole purpose of this Crochet Therapy Thursdays is to work on some crafts while we engage in chit chat and just get to know each other a little bit and just see what y'all are working on. piece of... The only thing I don't like about this yarn is it kind of frills a little bit, but again, I'm still a beginner when it comes to knitting, so I'm still getting into the groove of my knits and purls and knitting and purling and working in the rounds and so forth. But I'm getting better at it. Oh, shit. Can someone send a chat just to make sure the chat's enabled? Because I could have sworn I enabled it. So I'm not seeing a chat feed right on the bottom of my screen right now. So I just want to make sure that it looks like my neighbor got some sort of Amazon package. And like I mentioned, I know for those of you who are not available, who are not able to attend today's live feed, there is the replay option, so you won't miss out. It's just you'll just get it at a delayed time. Neighbor has a little lively this afternoon, which is not bad. Oh, FedEx too. It looks like my neighbor got something. And also, I gotta come up with a ripple granny square tutorial for the blanket because in my post I did a poll asking about what type of project y'all want me to do as a tutorial, and y'all mentioned, and everyone, like the vast majority of those who submitted their vote, stated that they wanted a ripple granny square afghan. So I have to get the yarn together and make a tutorial for that. Of course, I gotta work out a sample first before I can actually create the tutorial. But today I am going to work on the tutorial for the Red Heart Granny Square all-in-one grand yarn. And for those of you who did not see yesterday's video, this is, 1 second here, and this is the finished product, what it looks like. This is the Granny Square Grand this is a full spectrum. This is the colorway, but of course there are many different colorways for this yarn. And the thing I found about towards the end, I don't know if I did this a little tightly or loosely. I tried to adjust my tension, but you get this long tail of yarn, so it could be beneficial for weaving in. But maybe when I work the next square, maybe I won't have that issue. But because I know the flower power yarn has that too, like it'll give you an extremely long tail for weaving in your squares too, for joining them. And hopefully everyone's checking their mental health, because I know I like to mention, check your mental health because it's important, because this time of the year, especially during the holidays, you hear, unfortunately, that the rates of suicides are higher than any time of the year, because I think it's because of the lack of the sunlight and shorter days and colder nights. So, but you just gotta find ways to occupy your time. Hey Jenny, how you doing today? Glad to see you here. Glad you made it today. Hope everything's going well with you. And hi Zoanne, thank you for joining. And happy Yule to you too. Blessed be. And so the yarn I'm using for this project is it may be backwards in the camera, so forgive me. This is their I Love This Chunky yarn from Hobby Lobby, and this colorway is Cinnamon Cedar. Let me see if you can see that. It's going to be backwards, so I apologize for that. Oops. Yeah, it's $5 a skein. So, and I'm working on the Ross hat. So at the time, I didn't have the other yarn that he had in his video, which was that from Premier, the Color Fusion chunky yarn, but I got myself some. And I also got myself another circular needle with the right cable length, because as I mentioned previously, with the kit I got, this cable length is a little too long, but I made up for the number of stitches in the round. But if we gotta try this on, it's gonna be a little too big for me. So I mean, I guess it could be like a neck cowl or something like that, because it can fit around my head. But I do like the colors too. It's like the way the colors are coming out. So different shades of like blues and greens, yellows, oranges, a little bit of purple, some magenta, a little bit of reds in there. But I love it. It's coming out really well so far. I mean, the only thing I have to say, it kind of frills a little bit. Like if you see a little bit of the pilling, well, of course it could be because I'm snagging part of the ply of the strand of yarn. Yeah, I kind of agree, Jenny. Yeah, even with the Umbra, it's like their Umbra, their the Granny Square yarns and all that. It has that kind of weird starchy, scratchy type of feel, especially with our Umbra yarn. Uh, let's see if it is a strapping yarn or not. I don't think it is, but I mean, it's possible. I mean, it doesn't say stripes on there. It just has it says this chunky yarn. But if you look at the swatch they have on the packaging, I guess it could be striping. But I just love the colors. I just love the color combination. And I do have another one of these, Jen, but I don't want to feel like digging it out because amongst the piles of stuff I have behind me and to the side, you can't see the other side. So I still have to organize my massive hoard. So I have to do that. I got to get that done. Oh, so Zoanne, what type of project are you going to be working on? Because you mentioned that you're going to want to send your daughter to Hobby Lobby to get some of the yarn I'm working with. Working like a scarf, hat, a blanket. I mean, this could be used for a multitude of projects. Yeah, Jen, like I didn't know if it was striping or not. I was just kind of like the way it looked. So I guess since you brought it up, I had to look closer on the inspection. I guess it is a striping yarn. So you be the judge if it is striping, because I think it is. Just the way this swatch looks on the label. Yeah, I'm still a beginner knitter, so I may make some mistakes along the way, but as far as I can tell from what I've seen, I think I'm doing pretty darn well with the way it's turning out. So, so any plans for the holidays? Spending time with family or friends or both? Or as for me, I think I mentioned in my yesterday's video that I'm spending my Christmas with my in-laws, so I may sneak over the Hobby Lobby and Michael's and get some yarn. So, but of course I'm not going to sneak over. My husband already knows. So, I mean, I kind of like this part of the Ross hat project. Whenever you get to the knitted rounds, you just keep knitting and knitting and knitting, and not to worry about purling or catching the. Oh, okay. Well, hopefully everyone's Christmas will go well this year, and hopefully the new year will turn out as well too for everybody as well. See, any resolutions for 2026? Any goals that y'all want to meet for 2026 at the end of 2026? Trying to think for me, probably working some more projects and hopefully become monetized and at least get 500 subscribers at the beginning of next year, which would be awesome. But eventually I would like to get up to the required 1,000 subscribers, and I think it's like 1,000, like 3,000 watch hours or something like that, so I can get monetized. But I'm also looking to get back to work, so have a blessed Yule, Jen. Yeah, I'm also a pagan. I'm also a Wiccan, so of course on and off. I don't set up. I'm kind of like in my mind I celebrate it. It's like I don't set up the altar or anything like that. I mean, I used to, but either I just forget to do it or I just get lackadaisical and don't do it. But in my mind, I celebrate it anyway because the mind is the most powerful tool. So in the blessed time of Yule, the Holly King dies and the Oak King returns. So get longer days and warmer months, which I'd rather have anyway, because I'm not a big fan of the cold. I mean, yeah, I like fall, but not the cold to where you're freezing to death. So not literally, of course, but just figuratively. Well, if I had to say, I guess I do like the Christmas movies too. They're on TV. I watch them every year. And if you saw my knitting video last night, I just mildly knitted to a movie I had in the background. Yeah, yeah. Uh, Animals will do that. They'll get into everything. So it's like they'll get up. They'll if you have cats, they'll jump up there and knock things down, or if you have dogs, they'll jump out and knock things down. So I mean, unless you have goldfish or something that's confined in a aquarium or terrarium or something like that. Of course, I'll probably watch the Christmas Story a bunch of times because was it TBS and TNT have a aw. Yeah, I used to have a cat, but he's no longer with us. So he was an older cat. He had some intestinal issues, and he died a couple years ago, so I'm not sure if I want to get a cat. I mean, I wouldn't mind getting a cat again. I kind of miss having a cat around, especially when they make biscuits. So if you're a cat owner, you know what biscuits are. So in the way they purr, they rub up on you, lay in your lap. I never thought about that, Zoanne. Yeah, I'm sure you have to get multiple skeins of this to create that type of like a poncho or some sort of blanket. I'm sure you could probably do this like a color pulling too. Of course, I've never gotten to color pulling. I want to try that as well. So what do y'all think? Could this work for maybe color pulling? I'm thinking it can. I mean, the stripes are long enough. Again, I never tried color pulling. That's another thing I want to get into with crochet. I mean, I've seen other creators on YouTube. They have these finished projects for color pulling and these like argyle and plaid blankets, and it looks really awesome. And that's something I want to try out to and master that. So I meant to do some research and do some YouTube watching for maybe get into color pulling. I might do something like that next year in 2026. So I never heard of a Korean style ponchos. I mean, I might have to look that up just to see what it looks like. Yeah, I'm always looking for new projects to try out, new things to try out, whether crocheting, knitting, anything related to crafting. Which is why I keep going on about how crochet is like a really good tool for mental health. It helps me keep my mind at ease. It helps me keep my hands busy, and I actually had a comment for one of my what I think I don't know if he's a subscriber or anything like that, but he mentioned in one of my videos about how he saw my videos, or I think he saw my videos, and he is teaching children in the urban areas about crocheting. So he said keep up the good work. So I thought that felt really nice to have someone state that to me. It's like, I mean, that's my whole goal, is to spread my love of crochet and knitting and the crafting arts to improve our lives, you know. Yeah, I agree, Jen. That yarn could work out for a color pulling. Again, I have to master that first before I try it out. No, I'm not sure what null binding is. I'll have to look that up. You see all sorts of ideas I want to look up, like null binding and color pulling and Korean style ponchos. I mean, this is awesome. I like it. I like this. That we can share ideas, express ideas of what we've done or seen or tried. Huh. I might have to look that up. Just like this morning, I think it was trying to think if it was you, Jen, that mentioned when I mentioned about the Nifty Knitter, you mentioned how they were a style of looms, knitting looms, and I did look that up, and you're right, it is. It's like I looked it up. I went to Google, said the knitting knifter, and it did come up. It was one of those plastic knitting looms. So you're right. So I never knew that. So I thought that was very cool. That was very interesting. That I just happened to spring upon that sort of name. And I think I mentioned how I derived that name was one of my Instagram followers suggested that to call myself the Nifty Knitter because of my knitting adventures, and but he spelled it Nifty, so I decided to put a K in front of it. Nifty Knitter, just to play on the knitting aspect, and it turned out to be gold. So I remember when I was younger too, I got into cross stitching and embroidery too. So I got back into that as well. I had a couple kits I've done. I might have to look that up, Jen. That sounds very interesting about null binding. And I'm also going to look up about the Korean style ponchos. And that's but they both sound interesting. So I'm going to look those up as soon as later on in the day, just to get a better idea of what it is and something I can tackle. Man, look at me go. Sorry, it's like I'm just so proud. I'm improving my speed on the. I guess my biggest thing is got to watch out for my tension. Kind of like because I'm kind of a tight crocheter, so I got to be careful not to apply that to knitting. Because you can kind of hear the acrylic squeaking a little bit because I'm kind of doing this a little too tight. So I'm trying to monitor my tension on my yarn. I'm sorry to hear that you lost your circular needles, Jen. So were they circular, straight needles? So said you're making a oh, it might have been circular. Just having to read that. Yeah, that's what I was thinking what that was because you mentioned about the hat, so I put two and two together, like, oh, okay. Oh, I got this. This is the Ross hat. It's I think it's Smells Like Yarn or Smells Great Guy is his handle, but it's his Smells Like Yarn. I think one of my subscribers mentioned it, had recommended this as a beginner project for knitting, so I looked it up and then I started working on it. I also downloaded the pattern and printed it out. So, and it comes in 4 different sizes. It's a free download. If you go, I think it's like think if you go to his page, I think there's a video it's like called the Ross Hat tutorial, and I think he has a link in there to where you can download the free pattern. And I do, give me 1 second here. I don't want to lose my stitch. And I do have the pattern. And see, there's the Ross Hat. It's a free pattern. Go to his website, and it says free pattern. Then it comes in comes in for size 1 for superfine yarns, 3 for finger for light yarn, DK yarns, 4 for your worsted weight yarn, and then I have number 5 because number 5 seems to work up the fastest. And I got the kit from Amazon. It's from an offshoot company. I think I put the link to it in my knitting haul video, but the only downfall, I don't like the color of the case. I'm not really fond of the color, but it does its purpose, and so I opened it, and so it has different size needles, and it has the crochet hooks there. It's like from a 2 all the way to 11. And then in here is where all the cables and all the accessories are. Different cable sizes, and it has different accessories that goes with, like the end caps that someone mentioned that it's for when you don't want your work to fall off the cable, then it keeps it in place. And it has like these little cotter pins for if you want to twirl the cable onto the end. And then I'm just see if I can get this out without messing this up too much. And then there's different size cables. I think the longest one is like a 42-inch, I believe, and the smallest is 16, which is what I have. Is what I have right now on this. But yeah, I think the cost of it was around, I think it was like $20 to $30. I think it's like 30. I thought it was like 30 to, might be $39.99, I think, or something like that. I could be wrong, but I do have the link in my. So far these work pretty well. So far I haven't had any issues with these, especially with these unraveling or falling off. And again, my first time I tried using this, I was frustrated because the yarn kept catching. It kept like it was stuck, but then I realized it was my tension. I had it too tight. So then once I loosened to my tension, the yarn started working off a lot easier. And I believe these are aluminum tips. It may feel, I don't know if you can hear that sound. I don't know if it's like, you know how plastic needle sometimes has that sound, but I looked on their page and it said aluminum. So they are metal, but I mean, they're not stainless steel, but they're aluminum. So it's not like they're plastic or any plastic needles. And the Color Fusion yarn I also got from Amazon. It was, oh, I don't like wood either. The bamboo. I was like, I have a set of those Lion Brand crochet hooks I got from Walmart, and I tried working with them, and I think there was a splinter, like a splintered piece of wood. Yeah, it split in my yarn easily too because it had like a little piece of wood that was kind of splintered a little bit, so it kept catching the yarn. So I don't like bamboo. I don't like to use wooden crochet hooks or knit needles because it just splits the wood, and you can run the risk of getting a splinter in your finger. So I'll stick with the metal. Plus, you run the risk if you bend it too hard, the wood's gonna break. But I've seen videos of people practicing to knit with chopsticks if they don't want to get a set of needles. But I mean, they do have plastic chopsticks out there, but I would just say just get a small set, a very inexpensive, affordable set of needles and just practice. So I'm kind of wanting to show you the other, oh, the double needles. Oh yeah. So how do those work out for you, John? Did they splinter too, like the knit needles or the crochet hooks, or do the was a DPNKs DPKNs or the double pointed needles? I'm just gonna say double pointed needles. They snap because I've worked with them before in the past when I first got into knitting, but so I know you can use those for like when the circle to knit in the round too if you don't have a set of circular needles. But for the Ross Hat project, he specifies towards the decreasing round that he recommends using the double pointed. I do have some. Where did I put those? In my yarn haul, I do have some of these too. These are from Knit Pro, the Zings. Yeah, see, here's the double pointed ones that he had in his video. And these are metal, so same size as the needles I have for my hat project. Yeah, clovers are pretty good. I've never worked with clovers, but I heard they're pretty good to use, especially with our crochet hooks. Oh, what kind of puppy do you have? What breed of dog is it? Oh, come on, dang it. Aw, that's adorable. Yeah, puppies will do that. Because they explore the world with their mouth. So like they just like how babies do, how infants do. It's like they put everything in their mouths just to get a feel for it and explore the world. So you got to be careful with when if they get into something that they shouldn't and it could potentially be harmful. Like my cat, he used to chew plastic all the time, so we would have to try to put away anything plastic, especially our fake Christmas tree and everything we try. And plastic bags, he would chew on the plastic bags. Things like whole pica syndrome. But he was a very good cat. I mean, he was a lap kitty cat. He would like jump on your lap and he would jump up on the chair arm beside me, purr, and hi Jenny G. Yeah, so I am knitting the Ross hat right now. I have the brim done and I have the body almost all done. I still got about an inch to do before I move on to the decreasing rounds. Yeah, because I got someone recommended this to me as a beginner knitting project, so I decided to go with it, and ever since I've been working on it. So, but I think this hat's gonna be a little too big for me, so I could do this as a net cowl or just like or finish as a hat just to see how it works out, because I do have another one on 16-inch needles, size 11, with the color fusion yarn that he used in his video. So I have that as a separate project, but I wanted to continue with this one because I started this one first, and I want to just like jump from one whip to another, and which we are all guilty of in some capacity. But I know I did. It's like I'll start on a bunch of projects, and it could be a slouchy hat, just like a nice loose hat. I could see that. Or maybe when I wash it, I'll shrink a little bit. Or if I wet it and block it. Be a cool funky hat, like a slouchy hat. Yeah. See, it's acrylic, so it's acrylic yarn, so maybe I'll shrink a little bit if I wash it. It's like hand washing, let it air dry, maybe. Because I don't think you can put this in the like 30 degrees. Something's like 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Oh, I'm reading the directions, and I'm reading the care directions on the back of the skein. What water temperature to put it in, so don't want to do it too hot, then could ruin the yarn or make it shrink. But like I said, this is just a practice one. Yeah, so Jenny G, when I started knitting when I was at 14, when I was 14, I learned how to knit and crochet at the same time. So I kind of wanted to learn both when I was that young, but I think my greatest achievement was learning the cable knit stitch. You know, use that particular needle. It's got that, it's kind of like a U almost like that, and you maneuver it to where it kind of twists around in the fabric. And I actually did a couple rows like that, and it turned out really nice. And that would maybe probably be something I'll get back into again, just to practice my knitting skills. And I also did knitting on the round with double pointed needles and straight needles. I mean, it was a lot of fun. I mean, just to learn that, just to see if I could do it. It's like once you get the basics down, like you know how to, like which style you prefer. As for me, since I'm a crocheter, they mentioned that continental style is the best, which is what style I'm using. It's just much easier. I'm used to having my yarn on the left side when I'm working anyway, so continental seems to work for me. I mean, but if you prefer English, that's fine. It's just whatever style is more comfortable for you. So I'm trying to think if I may do some don't know if anyone y'all be interested in maybe some basic knitting tutorials, like how to like cast on, different types of casting on, knit stitch, purl stitch, working in the round. Just like I had like I do with my Crochet 101 series. Maybe I'll do like a Knitting 101 series or something like that. I don't know if that would be something y'all be interested in. Because again, that'll also allow me to master this more as well. Because then that way I'm learning myself versus just saying, "Oh yeah, I know it all," blah blah blah, and like that. And I don't want to be that. And I don't want to be like that. So I want to be the type of person that if I'm teaching something, I'm gonna be right there with y'all and relate to everybody, relate to everyone that can benefit from such information. Y'all, I know I was kind of an 80s and 90s baby, so anyone familiar with those commercials they had for a knitting machine? It was kind of like a long, flat knitting machine back in the 80s, and they had all the needles, and it was like really cheap. Not cheap, but it was cheaper than it is now on Amazon, but it was like a long, flat thing, and it had like the where you could put the yarn, and then you just go back and forth, and it would knit for you. It was like a Amazon has that, but I've seen the prices for those types of machines, and they're like close to $500, and I don't feel like spending $500 on a knitting machine. I mean, they do have the Addy machines, which are for like circular knitting for like hats and scarves, but yeah, I mean, Brandy, if you're interested, I'll gladly create some tutorial videos for knitting because again, I'm still learning this myself. So if I can teach others what I've learned, then y'all can pass the information out to other people who want to learn as well. So it's kind of like it's like knowledge is power. So I mean, I have to come up with some ideas for. Oh, come on, dang it, good. There we go. Yeah, so I guess I'll make some tutorials on knitting, I guess, because y'all are interested. So I think it would be something to expand my horizons too, not just teach about crocheting. So, Brandy, what are you stuck on as far as knitting? I mean, just what particular aspect of it are you stuck on as far as what you would like to see as a tutorial, like casting on, the net stitch, purl stitch, joining, working in the round, or cast on? Yeah. I think I had a video one time. I believe when I first started this, I had showed y'all my method with for casting on. It was like the simple cast on, but then someone recommended to do the slingshot method, and I think I kind of adapted that better. It's just a lot easier. Plus, with the slingshot method, you get the knit stitch right away for the first row, so you're kind of doing killing two birds with one stone, so to speak. I mean, there are other types of cast-ons too, but so far, I kind of like the slingshot method or the long tail cast on. I mean, that'd be another thing I can create a tutorial on too, if that's something that would be of interest. Yeah, because I don't believe in trying to do a bunch of complicated things just for something you can do in less steps, so to speak. I mean, the single cast on is like you just do a couple steps and then. What type of cast on were you trying, Brandy? Was it the simple long tail cast on, or there was another type that you were trying and it wasn't working out for you, or because I remember when I got back into knitting again, I was trying so hard to master the slingshot method, and after a couple of tries, I got it down. So it's kind of like you build up muscle memory with your hand. Oh, sorry, there was a piece of fuzz from that yarn that got into the air, the halo effect. And I also got that Vogue knitting book too, and they have, oh my gosh, they have so many different types of cast on methods. There was another one I saw on YouTube that it involved a crochet hook where you had to do a chain, then you loop it over to the needle, and I think I kind of like the slingshot method or long tail. Some people call it the slingshot, some people call it long tail. It's pretty much the same thing. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, knitters, because from what I've heard, that the slingshot and long tail are pretty much the same. It's pretty much the same thing. It's just the nomenclature. So let me know if I'm wrong on that or if I'm correct on that. Yeah, the long tail, it's either long tail or you can call it the slingshot method because when you hold it, it resembles a slingshot. Dang that yarn, fuzzy yarn. You ever had that happen when you're working with a chunky yarn? It's got the halo effect, and then you pull it up and a piece of fuzz flies into the air. It's like right in front of your face. It's like, hi, Rosanna, how you doing? Great to see you. How you doing today? How's your day going? So good. Let's do this right here. I got a couple more rows to go. So if you missed it, Rosanna, we were just talking about different types of knitting methods, cast on methods, and I asked about if anyone would be interested in tutorials, and I got a resounding yes. So I have to create some notes and some ideas of what I want to do as far as knitting 101 tutorials, like I did with my crochet 101. Oh, what happened, Rosanna? Did they overcharge you or something? Overcharge you for the bill? I got myself a thumbs up. I'm almost done with the body of it, Rosanna. I have about maybe 3 more quarters of an inch to go before I start on the decreasing rounds. So this is what I have so far. I got the ribbing. I got all this done so far. Took me a couple days, but I think I mastered my speed now as far as knitting. Knitting is concerned, and how to master the getting the yarn off the needles quicker. So I'm kind of proud of that. Oh, thank you, Rosanna. Yeah, it's like I was rather proud of it too when this came out. That's the way and at this state right now. I was like, oh wow, I did that. And so Jenny G, I think I might do the straight first, just because that's how I first learned to knit was with the straight needles. So I might do that. I do have a pair of straight needles I just got to get to them. So I think I will start off with the straight needles first for like the casting on and doing knit stitches, purl stitches. And then when I move on to joining in the round, I'll go to my circular needles for that. And I'm also thinking about doing like the pros and cons between just doing straight like a scarf with a circular versus straight needles, like which one's better for which application and so forth. So I thought about that too. Because I've seen a lot of other tutorial videos about just your basic cast on and knit and purl stitches. They used straight needles, so I'm going to follow suit and do the same thing for my tutorials to start out with. So trying to think of the only benefit, the only advantage with circular needles or something like circular needles is that if you have the kit that has a longer 42-inch cable and you got like the little adapters, you can make the cable even longer. Say if you want to make like a shawl or a blanket or start on a sweater and do that way. But I suppose you can do a sweater with straight needles too and just join the two halves together. But again, I'm gonna do like a video like comparison between straight needle versus circular needle for like do like scarf like swatches and which works better. And yeah, I was thinking that too, Rosanna, but that because I was actually trying to do a scarf project just to practice some more of my stitching, and then it seemed to be a little clumsy. You got the cable in the way, and then if you're then you got the limitation of the cable length versus straight needles, so you don't have to worry about the cable in the middle between the two needles. So I think I might go to my straight needles from my scarf project. All right, Jenny. Yeah, have a great day. I hope to see you again. If I don't see you again, happy holidays. Yeah, I'm gonna jump off here myself here pretty soon because I got some things to do around the house. So yeah, it is quicker knitting with the straight needles because again, you don't have to worry about the constraint of the cable length. But I guess I mean if you're doing circular like this, then that's when your circular could come in handy, or you can use double pointed needles for that too. I don't know who you are, Life with Paige Kendall. Was this in a previous live feed, or was it a comment or something that on one of my blankets? So I'm having a kind of a trouble recollecting, so please refresh my memory. Was there any particular blanket in mind we were the previous live? I'm trying to think. Trying to think. The previous lives one it was segmented. Oh, the corner to corner. Yes, corner to corner. That's right. Sorry about that. It's like I had to think. Like you mentioned. Now I remember now because I mentioned something about a. I think I was working with a quilt motif yarn, I believe. Again, I apologize for that. It's like, because I think my previous life. Oh yeah, that's right. You did mention about the Christmas blanket you're working on for Corner to Corner. How's that coming along? Yeah, yep. How big is that blanket gonna be? Do you have a size in mind as far as how big you're gonna? Oh, okay, nice, nice. So, what's the overall goal size for your blanket? Okay, so basically, it's just whenever you feel it's large enough, like maybe a 5 by 6 feet or something like that, or a like a square, or a like a is it gonna be square, rectangular? Okay, nice, nice. I can see it being like a 4 by 4 or 5 by 5 feet, like a standard throw size, or go beyond like a 6 by 6 or oh yeah, H. Yep, yep. Yeah, that's what I would use too. Or you could go up to a 5.5 if you want it slightly bigger, but an H will be just fine for that application. What type of yarn are you using? Just using the standard worsted weight yarn, or is like any kind of sparkles in there, or using like a or a variegated yarn, or oh, so right now, Paige Kendall, I am knitting the Ross hat. One of my subscribers had recommended starting this as a basic knitting project, like a beginner knitter project. So I took this on. This is the Ross hat, and right now I'm about a half an inch away before I have to start on the decreasing rounds. And then I'm using the Love This Yarn Chunky, and the colorway is a cinnamon cedar. And then there's the swatch of it, which I love the way the striping's coming out. I mean, so far I think I'm doing really well with the knitting. I've improved my speed as far as picking up the yarn with the needles and moving them along to. Because I think during this live feed, I think I did at least like 3 or 4 rounds so far. So yeah, I do love the yarn. Oh yeah, Hobby. They got some good yarn for the I Love This Yarn series. No, is the yarn variegated? Is it like different like red, white, and green, or are you using separate skeins of red, white, and green? Because I could see that working out with either type, either way. If you're using variegated red, white, and green, or separate skeins of red, white, and green, or if you got red, white, and green with some sparkles in it. I'm almost to the end of this round, so I'm going to see how big this is now for the body before I move on to the decrease rounds. So that's kind of like where I cross my fingers and hope it turns out well. I just gotta. Oh, separate. Oh yeah, yeah. That. Oh yeah. That'll definitely work. Now, are you doing this like a checkerboard pattern, like doing like a separate squares for each color, or doing like stripes, or like a stripe diagonal stripes, or because again, I could see that working out either way. And for those of you who are still on the live feed, I appreciate y'all sticking around. I mean, I appreciate all your feedback, and I've learned so much during this past hour and 15 minutes. So I still want to look up about the Korean style shawl, Korean style blank. I think it was a shawl someone mentioned earlier, and then no, I'll have to look that up. So I do apologize if I don't remember the name right off the bat. Let me do one more round and then. I think I'm just about there with the 6 inches for the body, so I'm probably gonna do maybe one more round before I start the decrease row on this. Oh, I got that done. I showed it off on my previous video. It's the thumbnail has the stockings in the tree in my right and my left hand. And then I also go into the whole Ross hat thing too, but the status report of that. But it's up on my the video I shared the other day. But it came out nice. It was like I did a 7 tier tree. I had like blue and white, and then I did a little pot on the bottom, and I had a yellow star on top. So you'll see it. Yeah, it's in there. I think it's the third project I show. Okay, yeah, Roseanne. Like I'm just following the pattern that Ross put on his site and on his video as well. Oh, you're welcome, Brandy. Yeah, so I'll have to formulate some knitting 101 videos for y'all. So like I said, I'll jot down what I want to, as far as beginning, like casting on, the knit stitch, purl stitch, uh, and so forth. So if there's anything else that you feel that should be addressed as far as the knitting 101 videos for beginners, let me know. Leave it in a comment or something like that, and then I can address those as well. I think I have a couple solid ideas what I want to do for the knitting 101 series. So we're about 18 minutes over our session, but that's fine. I should adjourn here soon because I do have some things I have to do around the house. So I got to wrap a couple presents for my in-laws, and so then I'll get some ideas jotted down for those tutorial videos, and I also got to film my tutorial for the Red Heart yarn that I reviewed yesterday. And then I'm also going to do probably like a status report on the Ross hat once I get to the decrease rounds. So I guess I will adjourn for the day. So it was great. I greatly appreciate y'all coming by today and sharing your thoughts and your well wishes and things like that. So again, I won't be on next week because I'll be spending time with my in-laws, and I usually don't look at my phone whenever I go to my in-laws because I feel that your quality time should be spent with them and not on your phone. So I may check from time to time when I get a chance to check everything out, but usually I don't carry my phone on me. I don't stare at my phone the whole time. I don't do that. So I'm gonna wish you all Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, have a joyous Kwanzaa. We'll have a blessed Yule for everyone who celebrates. So hope the new year turns out well. I actually when is New Year's is what, Thursday? So I may yeah, I think I might do a crochet therapy Thursdays for New Year for on January 1st. So maybe so. But well, I'll play it by ear. So don't forget to grab your crochet hooks or knit needles, grab some yarn, create something beautiful today. Love each other, help each other out, be there for one another, spread love and not hate. Keep track of your mental health because good mental health is very important any time of the year. So, and then on that note, take care of yourselves and each other.